Watch another video by WillE. This one is called Preparing for Wrath of the Lich King Classic. We of course haven't watched this video yet, so we're kind of looking to see what WillE suggests. Those of you that are watching live on stream, as always, please feel free to comment, and I will be pausing the video to give my take. Those of you that are watching on YouTube or watching live, if for some reason you're not already subscribed to WillE, please go and do that now. He's one of, if not the best content creator for Wrath of the Lich King videos right now. He puts a lot of work into it, so definitely go like and subscribe to his video as well. And we quite often will watch them on stream several days after they've been launched and just see what he has to say, and I give my take, and we'll see how it goes. Anyways, enjoy the video. Oh, by the way, the stuff that I need to do is I need to finish leveling this paladin that I'm leveling to 70, and I need to figure out if I'm playing a mage or a warlock in Classic. It depends if we recruit a mage or a warlock, but we're looking for a really good one. And then I'll just play the other one, because I can play either one, it doesn't matter. And then I need to, after I find out what class I'm playing, then I need to actually go and increase my engineering on that said class. So anyways, enjoy the video.
In the run-up to Wrath of the Lich King, everybody is doing their own preparation. For some, it's setting up an army of characters ready to Zerg level 80. For others, it's just being high enough level to get into Northrend. And for a few, well, you're still waiting on Fresh to drop so you can actually play the game. Today, I want to go over some general preparation tips, which I feel...
By the way, Fresh will drop on the 30th when Prepatch goes live. So I think a lot of people... some people are asking me if I'm going to be playing Fresh. I won't be, just because Blizzard hasn't done anything about the bugs. It's tempting to kind of level a character during that time, just in case I decide that I want to play on Fresh. Like not full time. Like my guild is on Fairlina. That will always be my main. But maybe I'll just have a character on Fresh. Who knows? Maybe that's where the gnome will be leveled.
Feel as though are good for everyone, whatever level you are playing at. These are things that I think ideally you want to have done on at least your main, so you aren't having to come back to Classic or TBC content, and you can focus all your attention on getting on with business in Northrend uninterrupted. I don't think there'll be anything too groundbreaking or surprising here which I'm going to go over. They're just some good general use tips. So let's begin. First, I want to do another shout out to Instant Gaming for the...
Nope. Sorry. My video is not getting sponsored.
Spikes in power. Much like it was for TBC, it's a good idea to consider which professions you will want before the content drops and the price for everything starts going through the roof. Well, that's one of the things I gotta do is guess, already beginning to happen, by the way. Aside from picking the professions that work for you, you may also not want to level them all the way to 375. The final stretch from 350 to 375 can often be the most expensive and time-consuming part of a profession. In Wrath, there will be new items introduced across all professions which start at 350 that will include Wrath of the Lich King materials, such as handful of cobalt bolts for engineering, to name one.
That'll be good, actually.
This is a lot cheaper and a lot easier than trying to break through that final barrier of TBC leveling. On top of that, when it comes to professions, make sure your first aid is capped. You want to be able to make the new first aid bandages in the expansion, and if you are a tailor specifically, make sure you talk to the profession trainers when you land in Northrend, wherever that may be, as they'll teach you a passive which allows you to collect more cloth from enemies. Next up, PvP stuff. How is it gonna work?
And as I said earlier, the last time we watched this or tried to watch it, I have 11 tailors, and apparently there's no cooldown in patch 3.3.5. So that means having 11 tailors is basically completely useless. You just need one. So I guess I can, not have to worry about that anymore. That's not how I'm going to be making gold anymore, which is why I'm making this paladin.
In regards to honor and marks from Battleground. So in short, Blizzard has yet to confirm what their plans are, but judging from what happened in the past, we can make some educated guesses. In 2008, when Wrath was releasing, Blizzard initially announced that they did plan to reset honor and marks so that all players were on an equal footing moving forwards. Understandably, a lot of players were not terribly happy at this decision, and Blizzard ended up reversing it shortly after. So if we look at Classic and TBC, players also kept that.
You will be able to keep your honor to whatever the honor cap is. I believe it's Is it 75,000 or 100,000? I'm actually not entirely positive. But then you can also keep your badges as well, so that as soon as you spend your honor, you can turn the badges in. Or maybe the cap is raised in Wrath of Lich King. I think that's actually what it might be. But you'll be able to save up enough honor and badges so that you can buy your first piece of weapon or first piece of gear real quick.
Their honor points then, which was true to how it was originally as well. So overall, and yes, again, this is to be confirmed, but I would bet Blizzard do not reset honor and marks going into Wrath this time around. This means you should be able to farm out the honor cap of 75,000, as well as collecting as many battleground marks as you possibly can, which you will then be able to turn in at a new vendor during the Wrath pre-patch for honor as well. Side note about battleground marks, they stop being a currency for the majority of PvP items, including the PvP mounts. If you have lots of marks at the moment, it may be worth grinding out the rest to buy the Black War Tiger or whichever other one you may want, because when the pre-patch drops, they're gonna cost 50,000 honor instead, which might take you longer to get. Also, you can buy the level 60 rank 14 gear for only a couple marks each. I completely forgot about this. That's a little easier than the rank 14 grind was. All the same, whilst you will be ahead if you prepare honor in advance, honor gains are hugely improved in Wrath compared to TBC, and the Savage Gladiator blue gear you're gonna start off with cost a ton of points as well. So all in all, you will be ahead, and if you're a hardcore PvPer, you'll probably want to look into it, but not enormously so. Next up.
Geez, I don't know, Chad. Is this what we need to do? Do we need to go and actually start grinding some honor and stuff like that for like the last, like after I get this character to 70? Is that the next thing that I need to do, or are we farming gold? Because I do plan on getting more into PvP in Wrath of the Lich King.
Probably one of my least favorite things to talk about in Classic, weapon skill. I legitimately can't wait for this stat to be removed from the game. Seriously, what are the weapon trainers even for? You go to them to learn how to use a weapon, and then you have to take that weapon that apparently they've taught you how to use, and then go out into the world and learn how to use it yourself. Can I just give them 1,000 gold and they max my weapon skill for me? There we go, new gold sync idea, how about that? Anyways, if you play melee, you've been there, I've been there, you get a brand new shiny weapon, you get all excited, you click on your character's stats and find out you have like 57 skill out of 400. And by the way, as you already know, you got all of those points from...
That just happened to me, by the way. I went and bought this new two-handed mace for my paladin that I'm leveling, got it all enchanted and stuff, and then realized that I didn't have any skill in the item. And then had to go and sit there and attack Grays for like half an hour to get the weapon skill up. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, one of those things from the past that not too disappointed is actually gone.
From hitting stuff when you were...
No changes, by the way.
disarmed. So yeah, in short, go level your weapon skill up before Wrath happens. This goes for rogues more so than any other class because they learn how to use axes in Wrath, and I've tested it on the pre-patch. You can learn axes in the pre-patch and you start at skill level 1. Fun. Also, druids, make sure you learn how to go and use polearms. It's not like you need to train the weapon skill, but you do want to be able to equip them whenever they drop. In regards to training your weapon skill, I have 2 tips for you. Number 1, you don't get weapon skill from training dummies. I tried. It would be far too easy that way, wouldn't it? And secondly, you can no longer get weapon skill from targets that are immune. This used to work in TBC, where you could train on some units in Shadow Moon Valley, for example, who would vanish, but now you actually have to be rolling on the hit table in order to gain skill. So the go-to training methods that should still work will be the Servants of Razalik in the Blasted Lands.
Yeah.
These are just outside the crater where the Dark Portal is. Roller Destroyer, he's also in the Blasted Lands. He's in the building in the northwest. Or my personal favorite spot, the Ogre Spirits at the end of Dire Maul North. Just make sure you don't kill the last boss, and they should persist and be attackable indefinitely whilst you're fully AFK. Just don't leave it too long, or your character will eventually stop attacking and you'll get auto-logged out, and if you're logged out for too long, you'll push back to the start of the dungeon, and it's kind of a bit of a run back there. Also keep in mind that fist weapons are trained under the unarmed section, and there are a lot of very good fist weapons in Wrath, so that is definitely worth leveling too. Inscription is going to be in the pre-patch. That means glyphs are going to be in the pre-patch, so you'll want to see which ones are best for your character early on before you're level 80.
Everyone's saying to level an inscriber. Man, I haven't even started to get any. Oh, that's something else I need to do. I need to level up mining and herbalism on my druid that I just leveled too. Okay, so we still got to do that. So that's 2 days worth of work right there. Maybe even 3 to get both of them to max level. Probably 3 or 4 streams worth. I totally forgot I haven't even started that yet. And inscribing. Like, I was going to raise mining so that I can raise engineering on whichever character I'm going to be maining. But people are saying that you should have an inscriber as well. I'd be bothered.
Glyph spot, and the best ones early will be selling for well more than what they are really worth, but I think the prices are going to come down really fast because for the majority of specs in the entire game you use the same glyphs forever. Also, your best glyphs may not exist in the game for a while. Some of them are bought in Northrend from a vendor or discovered via dailies. Nevertheless, any glyph is better than no glyph. The glyphs themselves can be equipped via a new tab where you find your talent trees, and they have 2 categories. There's major glyphs, which buff a certain ability by a large amount to lower its cooldown or modify its...
You know what? Glyphs are one of those really cool things that came in at Wrath that really kind of gave that extra little like uniqueness to your character, although eventually you get your cookie cutter builds where everyone realizes, okay, this is what it was. But back in original Wrath, most people just like they were picking whatever they thought was cool. Like the min-maxing community wasn't anywhere near what it is now. But I mean, let's be honest. You're gonna have your min-maxing community that is basically gonna be saying these are the best glyphs for you to have. But it was kind of neat to see what different glyphs people were taking back in original Wrath.
Spell entirely, and minor glyphs which are quality of life or cosmetic for the most part, though there are a few minor glyphs which do buff damage, such as Paladin's Sense Undead for one. Next up, I don't know about you, but over the course of the expansion I accumulate a ton of gear, items, pets, mounts, and just random junk which I end up throwing into the bank when my inventory gets full, because you never know if that blue item could be useful in the future, and oh, I'm hanging on to this because I need it for my hit set of gear, and all the other random crap you've got sitting about. Now is the time to ditch all of this stuff. This is literally the MMO equivalent of playing Dark Souls, and you get given a really good item and you never use the item and it sits in your inventory forever because you don't want to waste it, but you don't know when you should use it either. I do this to myself all the time. New expansion is the time to clean things out and get the bank ready for the useless stuff from the next expansion, which you can slowly build up over the next 2 years.
I should show you guys actually my bank for my Warlock and my Mage. I don't know what it is. I cannot allow myself to remove or delete like gear from like, and let me know if you guys are like this as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comments below. I have gear from like when I got phase 1 BIS, like Molten Core shit, like my Warlock set, it's still sitting in my bank. I'm not kidding you. Like, I'm like, no, I will not get rid of it. I was so proud that I got this. So to do what this guy's done, I have that for all of my characters too, like my Warlock, my Mage, my High Warlord set, like my rank 14 set. No, it's still in my bank. I will never ever delete that. Like, I was so proud to get it. There's no chance I'll never ever use it again, but I will never ever delete it.
Also, I have to mention that pets and mounts can now be learned, and you will find them in a new tab under your character, which is going to free up a nice bit of space for you as well. Preparation is never done without mentioning gold, and I think gold matters a lot more in Wrath than it did for TBC, to be honest. Whilst there's no hard requirement of you need X amount, there are a certain number of things which you kind of are going to want. Real quick side note, as of mentioning this video, we don't know what level 70 boosted characters are going to get, but I kind of expect them to have flying by default as part of the boost. Again, time will tell whether that's true or not. Anyways, what are the things which cost gold which I would not want to be without in Wrath? There's only 2 things which I would want on every character every single time I'm leveling. First, flying training and a mount. This costs a maximum of 300 gold when learned at your faction camp in Hellfire Peninsula. Secondly, cold weather flying. This is trained at Dalaran for 1000 gold at level 77 and lets you fly freely throughout Northrend. Now, there is a free mount you can obtain from Honest Max in K3 without cold weather flying, but it's limited to certain zones, and overall I just prefer to have the option to fly whenever and wherever. After mounts, which for me would be the bare minimum, there's then dual spec, which is just useful for so many different situations, PvP and PvE spec, tanking dungeons, then DPSing.
There were people that I've heard that said that they're not actually going to spend gold on dual spec. Like, all the things to be cheap on, why would, like, dual spec? Like, come on. Like, you have to, like, dual, like, any character that you play regularly, you've got to probably put dual spec on.
in the open world whatever you want. It costs 1,000 gold and can be learned at level 40 from your class trainer. It is a bit class dependent whether you'll want it though. I think some classes do benefit more where you can do different roles. So overall, going into Wrath, I would aim for at least 1,300 gold or 1,000 if you already have.
What class would you not want dual specialization on? I guess unless you're just a PvPer, you might, like, if you're a PvPer, maybe a Frost Mage or something like that, and all you do are battlegrounds all day long, maybe. But if you do any type of like mix or PvE or anything like that, like, you're gonna want dual spec.
Flying, and 2,300 if you also want dual spec as a priority, because this is before we even get into leveling professions, buying enchants, gems, glyphs, consumables, bags, bank spaces, and possibly all that for multiple specializations. Wrath can set you back in gold surprisingly fast, and if you really are min-maxing, you can spend an unreal amount of gold this expansion. The Dalaran rings, which Abyss for many classes, are 8,500 gold. You can upgrade them as new patches come out, so they are a bit of an investment. Darkmoon Card Greatness is another Abyss trinket, which is made through Inscription and will fetch an incredibly high price early on. We're talking tens of thousands of gold easily. For this. There's the Traveler's Tundra Mammoth, aka the Repair Mount. That's 20,000 gold. If you're going all out, you could get through 50k in 1 week really easily. But of course, that is not for everybody. It's certainly not for me. If you're short on gold at the moment in TBC, I always find a good place to start is clearing the map of quests, especially group quests at level cap, give you a nice chunk of bonus gold, and then you can vendor the greens you get from it. Also, there's plenty of daily quests in TBC as well. Now that the Isle of Quel'Danas will be fully unlocked on your server, you can plan a route around there as an easy way to farm some gold as well. Also, any badges that you have left over at this point in time, which you don't plan to spend on gear at all.
You know what? I have like 800 badges. I literally have to go do this like immediately. I literally have to go do this right now. Like, I gotta like get on my Warlock, and I think I've got like 800 or something on my Warlock, and I probably got another 300 or 400 maybe on my Priest. Probably another 100 or 200 on my Druid as well. Like, I need to get on this now.
Can be traded in for epic gems via vendors in Shattrath or an Isle of Quel'Danas. They're not going to be worth a huge amount anymore, but hey, you might as well if you're not going to buy gear with them. So speaking about gear, what about that then? What if you've boosted, you're a returning player or a totally new player? Is it worth preparing gear for the Wrath launch? Honestly, I wouldn't bother at all. Obviously, you play your class as much as you want in the pre-patch. You're going to be passively picking up gear through questing, dungeons, raids, and PvP, but do you need to? No, I don't think you do at all. Here's a clip, for example, of me on the beta. I'm on a template Hunter. I haven't played Hunter in a long time, and certainly not in Wrath. It has TBC Dungeon Blue gear and a crossbow from one of the first quests in Wrath, and I'm AoEing down entire packs of mobs so easily. The power jump for our characters compared to the difficulty of the open world is an absolute chasm in Wrath of the Lich King. We really begin to power up as players in this expansion. Also, if you don't have any gear, you actually get to be excited about receiving green and blues as upgrades. If you're in Sunwell or even tier 5 gear, to be honest, you're going to be seeing what vendors for the most and then just forgetting about whatever you receive and throwing it in the vendor. In fact, Sunwell gear can last well into Wrath of the Lich King heroics and raids in some instances. It's not on the same power level as classic gear was going into TBC, but it certainly is.
I think aren't they saying that for many classes, Sunwell gear is pretty much pre-bis? It's very, very close. Like, I think you're going to have people that are basically getting to 80 and just hopping into like a raid right away. Like, if they've got time, they can go and get more items for the dungeons. But I think a lot of items are considered like just right there is pre-bis.
Is good. More gear is always better when it comes to speed and just ease of leveling, of course, but it's not something I would prioritize. I would be farming gold above gear at this point in time. And I think those are some good ideas of things you can begin getting stuck into in the run up to Wrath on your main. Of course, there's so much more you can do depending on what you want out of the expansion, but having a foundation of things to sort out during this pre-patch period or before that is always a good idea. If you have any other good tips to share, do drop them down below and help your fellow classic players out. And as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I shall see you all in the next one very soon.
All right, another excellent video by WillE. What are you guys plans for pre-patch? Like, we know we have 2 weeks till pre-patch. What are your plans from now until pre-patch and then pre-patch to launch? Are you taking a break from the game? Are you leveling a new character? Or are you a dummy like Alodar and leveled up a brand new mage and warlock and then have them change or change their mind on being able to have a race change in the game? Did you do that? You deleted your account? Okay. You're waiting for Everlook. But that's not Wrath of the Lich King, though, Findy. That's not Wrath of the Lich King. Are you guys going to be switching factions, maybe? Can you make a DK right away on fresh servers? I believe so. Ooh. Ooh. I'm not positive, actually. Because you could just, like, start a DK and then go around and just PK people. Yeah, I would say no. I don't think you can. That's actually, but you can on, you can start them on, in pre-patch for regular servers, though, right? That's actually something I never thought about before. Are you sure of that, Findy? You can't, huh? I'm going to level this Orc Warlock to 60 before pre-patch and raid with it in Wrath of the Lich King. Well, I mean, I was leveling my Orc Warlock, and then they announced that you... and I'd already finished my Mage, and then they announced that they're going to have race changes. I was like, well, that was a lot of leveling for nothing. You have to level the character 55 before you can make a DK on fresh. Oh, is that what you need to do? Okay. Prerequisite for making a DK is having... Okay, so you actually have to level one... to a level 55 first. That's interesting. But on regular servers, you don't need to, right? Like, you could start with a DK right away, I believe is what they're doing. Yeah, for me, in order of importance, I need to finish this character and get it to 70. Because this is going to be my new gold farming character, this paladin that I'm on. After that, I need to find out if my main raiding character is going to be a mage or a warlock. And again, that depends on whether or not we recruit a really top-notch mage or a warlock, and then I'll just play the other one. Then I probably need to either farm some gold, or since I wanted to be doing more PvP, actually use my mage. I'm probably going to want to play mage, but actually start getting honor on my mage, which has no PvP gear because I hardly did any PvP on my mage in TBC. So I'm gonna like get my butt kicked and just be grinding honor as much as I can, maybe, or farming gold. We'll have to think about it. It seems to me that it's going to take an awful long time to get 75,000 honor cap and get all the badges and stuff like that as well. In order to just get one piece of gear as soon as the gear resets. So maybe my time would be best farming gold actually at that point, but we'll see. Anyways, another excellent video. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you did enjoy the commentary or anything like that, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. It does really, really help me out. And if you want to talk to me about World of Warcraft or any of the other games, of course, anything nerdy, Game of Thrones, Star Wars, or Lord of the Rings. People got pissed off when I didn't include Lord of the Rings. I do stream 6 nights a week from Tuesdays till Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern. Feel free to come watch me. The guild that I run, we're a week 1 full clearing raiding guild. Looking to take it up a notch or two in Wrath of the Lich King as well. So if that kind of fits your fancy, then by all means come by and take a look. Otherwise, will be doing a lot of BGs and stuff like that. PvP, a lot of it with viewers, stuff like that. A lot of fun stuff on stream. Again, that's Tuesday to Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Feel free to come watch me there. And we'll talk to you later. Talk to you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.